Is Palantir's performance surge just down to the AI hype? Well, the answer to that question is yes and no. But let me explain. We saw Palantir start to shoot up in May 2023, and it's done about 120% since then. So we need to look back and figure out exactly what caused this surge, because that will help us determine whether all of this is just pure AI hype. The intrinsic value of a stock and the stock price are different. Sometimes they can match, of course, but a lot of the time they are very different to each other. So you have to ask yourself as an investor, what are you basing your investment choices on? If you're a trader, which is absolutely fine, and want to play the game, then you're going to be focusing on the stock price and the market sentiment. If you're a long-term investor, you will instead take note of the stock price and pay attention to it somewhat, but you'll be focusing your efforts more on the underlying business and company that you're investing into. And you'll need to figure out your valuation for the company. If you're a beginner and you don't really know how to go about valuing a company, then firstly, try to learn. But secondly, try to understand the business that you want to invest into. Understand what they do, understand their customers, the market space they're in, their risks, their future growth, their individual moat, their total addressable market, and so on. Understanding these things in detail and learning about the company you're investing into will help you build conviction. And it's this conviction that will help you stay invested when the stock price drops. Now, in the case of Palantir, there is currently a lot of noise. People are talking about it, people are buying it, people are trading it, you get the idea. Is this stock the next big thing? That's the question people are asking themselves. And of course, right now, the key word is everywhere, AI. And people are wanting in on anything and everything AI right now, maybe as their best play towards getting rich. I'm not saying that that's not smart, and this whole video is not financial advice. But there will likely come a time, whether it's in a few weeks, a few months, a few years, when Palantir's stock price falls. By how much? For how long? We don't know. No one knows. But there will likely be a time when the macroeconomic market triggers people not to think and care so deeply about AI and the next big AI thing. And it's during this time that you will not only want to stay invested, but you'll want to buy more when everyone else is sleeping on it. We've seen it with Tesla very recently, actually, between September 22 and December 22, when the stock price just kept falling. Those who knew the business and knew what a unique position Tesla was in didn't fret. In fact, they got excited. They purchased more. And guess what? The stock price went up again. We see these cycles often. So why am I going off on this little bit of a tangent? Well, it's because I want to make the point of how stock price and intrinsic company value can be different. So looking back at Palantir, on the 8th of May 2023, they released their earnings. These earnings were good, very good. They got people excited. This company that for so long was called a basic consultancy company, a black box, a spy company, etc., seemed to be actually doing fundamentally well and heading in the right direction. The stock price followed this and began shooting up. People saw the evidence that they needed to take up a position. But then on May the 24th, 2023, Nvidia released their earnings, and many AI stocks across the board had a bit of a rally. And I'm sure this also pushed Palantir further up. But also on the 23rd and 25th, Palantir hit us with the announcement of 2 partnerships, followed by the AIP-Con event on the 28th. AIP-Con was real evidence of what their current customers think. So this, plus more partnerships piled on to everything else, just made the stock price go even higher. It just comes down to simple supply and demand. The more people that want it, the higher the price goes. So as we finished off May and moved into June, more contracts. This stuff is not AI hype necessarily, this is actual evidence of Palantir growing. But if there wasn't such an AI hype right now, would these events have caused the stock price to shoot up like it did? Probably not. Rewinding a little bit actually, I don't know how I could forget this one, but we also saw Cathie Woods loading up on Palantir shares for a few of her different ARK Invest funds. I think that happened around May the 22nd. It was definitely a similar time to the Nvidia earnings. So I think the answer is yes. The AI hype has definitely helped push Palantir's stock price up. But also, Palantir have helped push the stock price up, maybe even more so. The evidence is there. So now we have to ask ourselves whether we think Palantir is worth the current prices and what we think the prices may do in the near, mid, and long term, and use our own risk appetite and invest in timelines to figure out our next moves. Now, like I said, this video is not financial advice. This is just my opinions, and I think their future growth is big. My investment thesis sees them growing between 30 and 40% on average year over year, whilst they're still in their early stages. And then naturally, this may start to slow down a bit as they become more established and it gets harder to grow. And they aren't pumping all of the money back into the company. But I do think there are some very simple reasons as to why they will continue to get more clients. And here they are. They can literally work with any sector, any industry, and already have been. Their total addressable market is huge. Number 2, the demand will be there. They are a business to business company, right? Well, Foundry is at least. And these businesses, the potential customers, they know that they need to adapt and include AI in their company, or they will be outcompeted by their competitors. So who will they go to? They will go to Palantir, providing that they can afford them, because they are the market leaders and they are years ahead of anyone else, and especially years ahead of any companies that start soon. And alongside getting more customers, their margins are also good. Software usually is, and as they get more demand, they can increase their prices even more. And we can see actually that they've already been doing this. This is their total contract value, and we can see an increase from Q1 22 to Q1 23, an increase of 60%, which is massive, and people are still paying that, and we're getting more customers than ever before. So clearly, they have a lot to offer. So yes, back to the question, the AI hype is definitely helping, and it might be pushing the stock price up a little bit further than what we would be expecting to see right now. But there is also so much evidence that this company is building itself out and growing very quickly. Now, I'm not going to touch on all of these, but here are some more highlights that we've seen recently. They reached the second consecutive quarter of GAAP profitability. If we can see this 2 more times, they may be included in the S&P 500 index. You can see that the revenue grew by 18% year on year. The US revenue grew 23% year on year. The US commercial revenue grew. You can see it for yourself here. We've got lots and lots of growth. We've got better margins, we've got good things happening. So they're setting themselves up quite nicely. And we have the next earnings coming out around the 8th of August. And I imagine, and this is pure speculation, I imagine that if that's pretty good as well, like last time, we may see a little bump in the stock price then too. But if, and this is if, this company does what the bullish investors think it may do, then all of these prices right now will be cheap when we look back. Now, I'm not sure that we're necessarily going to see Palantir's stock drop back down to single digits anytime soon. As much as I would love that to happen, their growth prospects have grown and improved dramatically. But I do think there will be times when the price drops, like I said earlier, and there will be opportunity again for people who want to accumulate shares at a lower price. I'm not saying it will go back down to the $6 and $7, $8 mark. I'm not saying that, but it will naturally fall. Every stock does. Go and look at any stock out there or any index, and you will see over long periods of time, it goes up and it goes down, it goes sideways, up, down. You get the idea. I really hope you found this video interesting and informative. Please give it a like and share it with someone else who's also interested in Palantir stock. And don't forget, if you want more Palantir content, subscribe to the channel. Consider even becoming a Patreon and discussing this stock along with many others on my exclusive Discord. Have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you in another video very shortly.